You guys, I have a bone to pick with the world. And let me tell you. So, I am not tired, but baffled at the way that people throw around diagnoses. And one of them that I'm going to talk about today, because I'm going to do a couple of them that I feel like people normally throw around, but not in this video. In this video, we're only going to talk about depression, right? And a lot of y'all saying y'all depressed and you are not, okay? And I want you guys to understand that depression is not overnight, and depression is not something that you could pinpoint from one thing in your life. So I'm about to educate y'all real fast. You can stop saying you're depressed, because at the end of the day, these diagnoses are very serious, and y'all just be saying you're depressed, got anxiety, bipolar, all the other ones that I can't think of right now. But those are like three major ones that people use a lot, especially bipolar, y'all. And OCD. Like, no, 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 no. But we just gonna talk about depression today. Let's get it. All right. So here's the problem. Depression is very serious, right? Depression causes people to lose their life. Depression causes people to lose their relationships. Depression causes all kinds of problems. The thing is, you can have depressive symptoms but not be depressed, which means you can have a loss in appetite, or you can have a loss in interest, or a loss in weight, or a loss in energy separately, and people are going to say that they're depressed. You know, it's a natural reaction to feel sad and down if you have a breakup, if someone dies, if your feelings got hurt, if you're not able to do a certain thing that you want to do, if life is not going the way that you want it to go, you can have those symptoms. But here's the thing. In order to be considered depressed, you have to have these symptoms, 5 of them, at the minimum, coexisting for at least 2 weeks. So you can't have a couple days of being down and then say, oh, I'm depressed. You know, like a lot of people, when they're complaining to me, or, you know, they're just in a bad mood, it's like, I'm depressed. And it's like, no, you're not. You're just down. You're down and out. Cool. That is normal. My problem with people continuing to label themselves with certain diagnoses is that the longer you say it, you are putting yourself in a slump. That's not to say you may eventually get to being fully, majorly depressed, but you are putting yourself in a pit hole of these negative symptoms that you feel like you have, when you're just really having an emotional reaction to one thing for a short period of time. And it's like, come on. No, 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 no. It doesn't work like that. Depression doesn't work like that. So I'm going to label or read to you some of the symptoms. I already said a couple of them, but I'm going to come across some more to help you understand that, you know, 5 of these have to coexist, and you have to have 5. If you don't have 5, you're not considered. Now, if you have 4, you could be moderately depressed. But I can't full-fledged diagnose you with depression if you don't meet criteria. And that's the important piece. A lot of you don't meet criteria, but you have these symptoms, which, yes, we're still going to want to monitor, because if you're at 3 or 4 out of 5, and it's coming close to the 2-week mark, you're really holding on to something. And we want to figure out, why are you moving into this depression? Okay? So one of the symptoms is having a depressed mood. right? And all these symptoms mean nearly all day. It doesn't mean when you think about whatever the problem may be, it has to be damn near all day. So a depressed mood, a loss of appetite, a loss of energy, feeling fatigued, loss of interest, loss of weight or gain of weight, or insomnia or hypersomnia, sleeping too much, which is sleeping too much or not sleeping enough. Those are some of the things that are on the criteria for depression. Psychomotor agitation or retardation, which means you're just kind of fidgety, like you're restless, like you just can't function. You know what I'm saying? You got to tap, touch, you're going, your mind is going. So that's another one. Your inability to concentrate or focus on whatever it is that you're trying to do. But again, I'm going to reiterate, these things has to happen almost all day. All day. Because if it happens randomly, like that just happens. Like we're not just happy-go-lucky people 24/7 a day. It just doesn't work like that. So you have to be able to distinguish where these symptoms, or how did these symptoms start, and are they persistent? And then the symptoms also have to cause an impairment across different environments. So say if you're not happy with their job, right? But you realize at your job that is when you feel these symptoms. But you realize when you go home, or you're with your kids or your spouse or your significant other, or just in the world, you don't really have those problems. So the tricky part with it is that it needs to happen in different environments. It's more so environments that are really important to your functioning. And so if it's only happening at work, it might be a little harder to kind of just diagnose you with that, because it's something that is just related to work, and your work could be causing you to feel depressed. But ultimately, can you be considered majorly depressed overall? You can if you qualify, or you meet criteria, but overall, like, we will look at your functioning across multiple environments to see when it's happening, how often. The frequency and duration matters a whole bunch. And then the other thing, it just can't be better supported by a different diagnosis. So you may feel depressed, but say you just you're needing to adjust. And if adjustment disorder better suits your symptoms, we're not going to label you as depressed, even though you're coming and telling me that you're feeling depressed. It might be more so of an adjustment, because you're needing to adjust to something, but it's making you feel depressed because you can't figure out how to adjust. So that is depression in a nutshell. And the reason why I want to start putting this out there is to stop people from, for one, over-diagnosing, and for two, y'all just don't know what y'all be talking about. Like, there's a difference in having anxiety and being anxious. There's a difference in being majorly depressed and feeling depressed or down. There's a difference in not remembering if you turned off your stove versus having OCD. Like, y'all need to know. I'm trying to help. So also, let me say that I am not taking away from anyone who is having depressive symptoms. Depression is very serious. Depression is very hard. It's hard to come out of sometimes, and it's hard to work through, because you just don't find the light in anything when you're depressed. So don't be coming for me because it's like, oh, you're downplaying, because I'm not. What I'm downplaying is the fact that people are kind of uneducated in the diagnosis, and sometimes they don't understand that they're putting their self more in a slump by continually to say they're depressed. This is what I'm going through. Now, if you really are in a depression, handle your business. Continue to go to therapy. Continue to acknowledge what you're going through. These symptoms, get a hold of them, and really work through them. But for those of you on a day-to-day that's just like, I'm depressed, or you come home from work because you're just not happy, I'm depressed. No, you're not. You just had a bad damn day. Okay? That's it. All right? So let me know if there's other diagnoses that y'all really want me to do, because I got some in mind, but throw some out there that you've been curious about diagnosing, and just kind of how can you have it and things like that, and I'll get to it. All right, y'all? Y'all have a happy day, happy night, whatever it is, wherever you are, because we're going to get this right. All right, y'all. Peace.